Hey, welcome back to the studio. Today I'm going to start working on ideas for a commission piece. I have someone who wants a piece from me. They're giving me a lot of autonomy with that piece. Obviously, when someone asks you to do a painting or a piece of work for them, it's because they've seen your other work and they like your work. That being said, from an artist perspective, there's some tricky parts to that as well because you want a little bit of guidance so that you do something that they actually like. So I'm going to try to force that with this client by creating some studies, which I'll do next in this video. But first, I want to just share with you what is going to be happening. And this one, I'm not going to start working on this part in this video, but this is a setup for probably the next video is when I'll start on this. The piece is going to be big. I have a piece of this underlayment wood that I purchased, and I cut it down to, or I had Scott help me cut it down to 42 by 42 inches. So it's going to be a large piece. I do have an idea that I want to create some texture on this piece, like actual physical texture. I will be using some furring strip and turning it into a big panel, a big 42 by 42 panel. Some ideas that I have for laying down texture though, I've got this packing paper that I think is really interesting. Don't know. I have some shopping bags. This kind of paper, this sort of craft paper that they make shopping bags out of, can be crinkled up and laid down to create some interesting texture. I have some of this paper, I don't know if you can see it, yeah you can, that I think, I've used this before, I think you've probably seen that before. This is a great way to put texture into a multimedia piece. Obviously it's corrugated cardboard, and I've got a few grades of that. This is a little bit finer, and then this is like almost like honeycomb. Other ideas I have are using the embossing machine. Remember, I did that on aluminum cans. I think that could be interesting. And then just on like shopping bag, it's kind of hard to see. There you go. Regular paper, I did some emboss. So that might be a way to add some elements of texture. There's also, I have some of this embossed wallpaper that I could use. Anyway, those are, oh, and then I found these pieces of wood in the trash a few days ago, and I thought if I cut them down into smaller pieces and just, you know, sometimes I'll do like a barbed wire line. That's one of the marks that I make a lot. Maybe if I could do it with some wood. Anyway, that is in my head. I'm thinking about all of that as far as creating some interest on that board instead of just collage and paint and drawing, have some actual dimensional elements. Anyway, that's going to be the next video. Before I film that, I will have built this out as a panel. I'll have it hanging up on the wall. I think I'm probably going to go over it with gesso and maybe Payne's Gray is what's in my mind now, just to cover the whole surface. And then I think I'll draw in where I want some of these elements to go. The danger with putting this stuff on there is that I just make this big mess of way too much. So I think you can do a little bit of this texture placed properly will feel like there's a lot of texture, but if you do too much, then it just looks like a mess. So that's my delay in just jumping right in, is I've got to really, this is something I have to think about and be pretty intentional about how I do it. It can't just, I don't think I'm just going to throw it all at the board. I'm going to go to the table now and talk about creating and actually create some studies. We'll call them studies basically I'm just going to do some mark making and play around with some colors and stuff and try to put together some maps of what this piece, not exactly what the piece will be, but sort of the direction. And then I'm going to throw those at my client and see if anything resonates with her, if she likes anything over something else. That gives me a little bit more direction color-wise and form-wise how to proceed with this piece. So let's go over to the table. All right, so let's see what we can come up with here. 42 by 42 is obviously a square piece. So I've cut some square pieces of paper. I have some smaller ones as well. Let's start off with the big ones. Let's just get one. I'm gonna go ahead and tape it to my mat here because I think I don't want it to move. All right. Hopefully I didn't shake the table too much when I put that tape down. So I've got a few things here that I'm gonna play with. I've got the Caran d'Ache watercolor crayons. I've got a few pencils, drawing pencils, charcoal and other gauge. I've got some regular colored pencils. These are the non-wood colored pencils. So this one's broken. The whole pencil is colored pencil. Who makes those? Progresso. I think I got those at a flea market or something. I have some watercolor pencils and crayons. I have some art crayons, which are like a gel crayon. I don't have any oil sticks with me. I actually have some oil sticks that I ordered and they didn't come in time to do this, so we're just going to work with this stuff. So the first thing I want to do is just start laying down some colors. So let's pick something. I don't want to be too I don't want to get too uptight about this, but let's just see what happens. We get some of this color in here. Now let's get a brush and some water and see if we can start to move that color around. That's cool. Don't think we're going to be able to do. Let's see if we can. Oops, broke that. I wonder with these just regular colored pencils if we can get any of that to move a little bit. Not really though. All right, it's an interesting experiment. Let's get some more color in here. So I'm picking kind of a cool palette right now. I have some aqua in here a little bit. Some yellow in there. I probably want to bring a little bit more warmth. Okay, so I'm just going to play. There's that mark I love to make. That's good. This is interesting how that doesn't really want to go on top of that watercolor. I'm going to bring in this gel crayon. I want to get some dark right in there, I think. Right. And maybe some red in there. And that's the watercolor crayon, so. Oh, and that's nice, bring some warmth there. So I'm really just warming up with this, okay? But the thing is, you never know what's gonna happen. So you wanna move. You wanna move you just wanna keep going, is what I wanna say. These are from Japan, the football pens. And I'm not gonna get it to go on top of there. That's interesting. It's so resistant. I think these watercolor crayons do have a little bit of wax in them, so they do have a little bit of resist. You know what let's do? Let's take a little bit of just opaque white paint. And let's kind of go over some parts of this. Bring in a little bit there. And then what I want to do is I'm just going to take see if I can lift some of it off of there. Yeah. All right. And then let's come back in with that warm crayon in there. Where's the brush I was using for that? So easy to lose things here. Just had it. I haven't gone anywhere. All right. This is that gel art crayon. It works a lot like an oil pastel would, which is pretty cool. And these are the same. These are a gel. I don't know if I want to bring that color in there. What do I want to do? You know, I've got black here too in this crayon, and I think that all right. Okay. Calling this a warm-up, really, and I think it is going to stay in the collection. Got a little bit. You know what? Let's do this. Let's put this back. Whoops. Straighten it out, Brad. Let's try something here. Let's try a little bit of masking. So I'm going to take this paper and just create some kind of a shape here. Yeah, I like that. do this with tape too, but I'm just gonna lay it down. I'm gonna go back to my white paint. Let's put a little more in there. And that brush is real wet. That's why I'm tapping it like this, because it's gonna be pretty. And let's just do this here. Just to see what happens. I'm picking up some other stuff too, which I am absolutely fine with that white turning a little bit gray in there. That's kind of cool, actually. And then let's pick up a little bit of it. And we're going to pick this up too. Yep, there we go. Bring this red crayon right through here. I like him. And I think we might need to bring, got a little blue there. I'm going to bring some blue over here. Okay. See, that's turning into something now that's a little bit more exciting for me. I'll bring some yellow right there. All right. Now, oops. I'm gonna let that dry. Let's bring another piece of paper over. Tape it down. Whoops. So again, I'm not trying to make the final piece, you know, like, oh, here it is and I'll make it big now. What I'm trying to do is work through some color palette, work through some composition, work through some techniques, get some starts going, just try to create some pieces that might inform the bigger piece. And they can be as overdone as that, or actually yesterday I did this very simple piece, which again, this is not necessarily how the final piece would look, but this does talk to me, and it might, you know, if this resonates with my client, it might inform the larger piece. So I want to work now with actually creating some pattern, and I think I am going to start with this lime green art crayon. I'm just going to bring a solid piece through the center of there. And move it through. You know what? I've got some matte medium right here that I think will help me move that a little bit. There we go. So we'll have to let that dry a little bit, but that's okay. Again, creating some intentional pattern. Let's let's do something here. Let's see if I can make a gray over here. I'm mixing the gel pen and the watercolor crayon together, but there we go. Actually, you have white paint, Brad. Bring it in there if you want the gray. Let's bring it over here too. One way to create pattern is just sort of to repeat colors in a theme. It doesn't have to be set like a traditional pattern like this. You can create pattern by repeating pigment. So I've got gray and yellow here. I'm going to put some of that yellow over here. All right, and then I'm going to let's bring some red in that. Okay, and then we'll bring that over here as well. And I think we might want to get some kind of a, oh look, I had a gray watercolor crayon. I could have used that. That green can be in there too. And let's bring it up here. And then let's sort of just try to marry all of this together. Now remembering that this is a resists, I think we're gonna have some trouble with pencil, so bring this guy in. Actually, you've got that. Let's do a, let's do like a larger, thing here. Variance in that color. Let's put a little blue in there to make it a little grayer. And then I think let's make it a little less solid. All right, that's cool. Give me 1 second, I'm going to grab a livestock marker. So I will be putting some oil into this. This is a all-weather paint stick, livestock marker. And I think, oops, these dry, which is great. And it gets a skin on it, so that's what this stuff is. We'll just peel that off. All right. I love working with these. They're so smooth and nice to blend. All right, not sure about that, but it's a pattern. Let's do, oh, I've got kind of a deeper red in the watercolor pencils. So let's create a pattern with that there. Okay. And then what else can we do here? You know, if we've got this, let's put a little something on there. Let's do what can I use? Well, I can just use the eraser on this pencil, which is what I was thinking of doing before, but maybe just put some dots. Doing it with paint, I would, let's repeat that over here. Okay. Smash those so they're not so dotty. There we go. And these as well. Oh, we can put some of the white onto that. All right, so that's interesting. You know, I'm going to do the same thing here. With the white paint and just come in, and I think because I'm using some oil and more of the gel gel crayons, I might get a better lift. That's cool. All right, I'm going to come back in with that livestock marker. And maybe follow some of these lines here. Some paint on it. This, I'm not using a very expensive paper, so it's actually not intended for this at all. It's lifting up. Let's put a little paint under there to stick that back down. All right. As long as you have that paint on your finger, why don't you use it? Okay. So this seems a little more. These both actually are kind of pastel-y. This is a little more saturated color. I think now I'll just do a direct, like, well, you know what? If you're not going to come off nice, then we'll just fold you over. Okay, let's do one more. I'm going to start this time with drawing with pencils. And let's see. Let's make this circle red. I love red circles. I don't know why I'm so attracted to that, but that's going to happen there. And let's get the gray watercolor in there. Wonder, I took a little, this is ink, black ink. I have an available brush here. I just want to actually follow some of this line with the ink, and then do a little of the spattering there. I have this really nice purple gel crayon, which isn't too overly purple, right? Remember, we have good luck with dipping my finger into the matte medium to make this move a little bit. Okay. Okay. Let's take some of this yellow ochre. Put it in some key spots there. That was a watercolor crayon. I don't want to turn it just into color. I want to kind of keep the line, but let's soften it quite a bit there. All right. I'll probably do a whole bunch more of these, but this is how I'm going to move forward with a little bit of confidence on this piece. I'm going to make some bunch of studies, a bunch of drawings and ideas, and then show them to my client and see what resonates. That'll give me a little bit of direction and a little bit more confidence moving forward on this piece. I appreciate you watching. Please subscribe, and please have a good day.